We have one more speaker for you today. Clyde Loftis. All right, thanks. Is a U.S. Navy veteran, followed by 7 years of optical polishing and machining in San Diego. Currently, he is employed for the last 29 years at Tosoh Quartz on Science Park Drive, right across the street. Started as a night shift machinist, has been a supervisor, production manager, general manager, and currently director of manufacturing. Tosoh Quartz manufactures quartz glass products for the semiconductor manufacturing industry, employs various manufacturing and support personnel, including machinists, glass blowers, inspectors, multidiscipline engineers, clean room, packing techs, planners, schedulers, buyers, and more. I've gotten to tour their facilities a couple times now. It's really cool. And please welcome Clyde.
Thank you. I wish I didn't have to follow that guy. He had a pretty interesting topic. I'm here to talk about a manufacturing facility. That being said, there's a lot of alternatives after high school. Obviously college, and I'm not here by any means to discourage anybody from college. I encourage you to get all the education that you can. For many reasons, college is not for certain people. And another alternative is manufacturing. As I said in my bio, I went right out of high school into the Navy. I didn't go to college. I miraculously have a director level position in a several $million-dollar company. And it's a little bit accidental, but also took a lot of diligence and a lot of training and learning and persistence. Also, with Tosoh Quartz specifically, and with many other companies, it's not an either or. You can go to college, you can go to work. For instance, on Tosoh Quartz, actually, once you've been there 6 months and you're taking related classes to our business and to our manufacturing processes, you become eligible to have some of your college paid for. So we have a history of turning manufacturing techs go from entry level, they go through college as their even at associate level, and get money from the company to do so, and now have jobs as programmers, manufacturing engineers, estimators, and they did both. So a lot of choices in manufacturing. So why does Tosoh Quartz exist? Everybody likes their smartphones and all of their digital products. All of the things that used to be in an entire room in my house are now in our pockets. And that is because the circuitry required for all of these things has shrunk year after year after year after year, and is actually microscopic at this time, down in single nanometer width on the circuitry that's on these chips. There's two different processes of making a chip. Well, there's several processes. Two primary processes is depositing material onto silicon wafers and etching material off. We happen to be a business that services both sides of that. We have you can see the different sizes of the chips over the years, and the circuitry, like I said, is getting microscopic. And what that requires is a lot more processing, a lot more etching, a lot more chemistry, which for us deteriorates our quartz. The life of the quartz is reduced, and we have to make more, and we have benefited greatly from that in our growth. The processes that we do, these are some of the products we make at Tosoh Quartz. This big tube you see up here is actually the furnace housing. Over on the far right, you see these silicon wafers going up into this furnace. That tube is what is housing that furnace. You see other products here that carry wafers into the furnaces, and then you see other small tanks and rings that actually etch material back off. And the only way they can get that detailed patterning is to just put material on, strategically etch it off, put more, etch it off, put more, etch it off, and consume a lot of quartz wire. When people think manufacturing, they think, building something with your hands, maybe welding, maybe machining, but in a manufacturing company, especially one of our size, which is about 400 people, there's a lot more than just the manufacturing people. There's, purchasing and engineering and programming and drafting and all sorts of things. I have a slide later that talks more about that. This is basically a CNC controller. A CNC is a computer numerical control. It's for controlling machines that cut and grind, in our case, glass. We bring entry-level people in. We train them on these. We also hire veterans who are very skilled and quite a mix. Here's some tooling that we use at Tosoh Quartz for grinding and shaping glass. The one on the right on the machining is the one that's being controlled by CNC, and it's actually machining detailed features into the glass component. Here you see glass blower, the guy at the Fireman Silvers. That's basically forming the dome on a tube and or fusing a flange to it or some other device to it. You see an inspection machine that is also computer controlled, and they're a mix of computer controlled, and you can go in and teach a part in with your hand manually and then have it run on itself automatically. So here again is a very long list of people that we employ at Tosoh Quartz. So whether you go out of high school right into the field, or if you were to go to college, many of these things require degrees, many of them don't. All of them are employed in our company, and there's a lot more than this. I bet if I showed this in the company, there'd probably be a handful of people raising their hands saying, hey, you forgot me. But I think the key thing I want to make is, as far as the technology, is there's lots of ways to get into technology. There's lots of ways to get into manufacturing and make money at the same time. I'm here a little bit to pitch our company. We like to hire Sunset kids and Westview kids and everybody. But at the same time, just to make something like this not seem far out of your reach. Like I said, I went right out of high school and I ended up with like a great career. And there's a lot of opportunities with this company, any of the other companies that do similar things. When you think manufacturing, don't turn your nose up thinking that it's just, you're going to be grinding something or whatever. But there's a lot of opportunities out there to not only be employed, but to learn and advance and improve your technical skills and your marketability as an employee. Here's another thing. It's a little redundant, but it's layers of the different things that exist in a company, and everything from the semiconductor industry itself and their strategic technical competencies to the industry-wide technical competencies that are needed, getting down into specific workplace competencies. I have an echo now. And your academic competencies and the personal effectiveness, how you conduct yourself, how reliable you are, how tenacious you are, how how well your desire shows. One other thing, that if you're interested in technical manufacturing, there's a website called toolingu.com. It's maintained by the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, and at toolingu.com you can get basically a free package where you can go on. You can look at courses that you can take in engineering, in drafting, in machining, and those type of things. And we also have their entire catalog in our, we've bought their whole catalog, and we use that for our training in our company. Very good if you want to just look at overview of manufacturing and those type of technical processes. And I encourage you, if you're interested, to get on there and look at some of their courses. And that went faster than I thought, and that's it for me.
That's quite all right.